Hey all, this is Xenoxis. And now we're doing something very special. Excuse my throat, I actually had trouble with the throat before and stuff that, like, I kinda almost puked. I think I got something, I had something stuck in my throat, so I had to, like, cough up a lot of slime, or whatever you would call it, you know. But anyway, so we have a new text file here that I made, or new, I guess you call it notepad, right? Do they call it notepad? No, text document is what they call it. Which is basically kind of like a notepad thing, but yeah. But I've now made a Game of the Year 2023 elimination rounds to decide a game in the top 20 list. So this is something I already decided yesterday, or technically today, before I went to bed and stuff that. So, and I wonder if it was this otherwise that made me puke, that I drank it some weird way, that it tasted weird. But anyway, so yesterday on Twitter I posted about like the nominees. I didn't post what the nominees were. I just posted that the total amount of nominees were 40. There's 29 PS5/PS4 games. I just say that I know what games are PS5 and what games are PS4. But certain games are also both PS5 and PS4 and stuff that. And there are 29 PS5, PS4 games as nominees, 4 Nintendo Switch games, and 7 PC games. And stuff that. And those are like nominated for the top 20 list. So the way this is going to work is we're going to go over all the nominees in order. First is the PS4, PS5 nominees, then the Nintendo Switch one, and then the PS ones. And basically it's going to be either a yes or a no. Now at first I thought, okay, if I'm really, really harsh, then we might end up with way less than 20 and stuff that, which is why basically, so on the elimination round here, I'm gonna add like game round 1. Games eliminated. Games eliminated. And of course, games survived. So basically, so the thing is going to be like, because we are going to get down to the 20, at least basically down to 20, so that you will know what all of the ones that are going to be in the Game of the Year are going to be. However, it's still November, but still not in December yet. Generally, I make it on the 12th of December, which is basically not the first week of December. Well, technically it's the first real week, because the 1st of December is on a Friday. And not the next week, but the week after that. And then basically the 12th is not on the first week of December, but the second, basically, pretty much. Well, technically it does count as the first week of December there. On the first there, but it's just 3 days, basically, so yeah. So the 12th is on a Tuesday, by the way. But the thing is, right, I don't know, right, I haven't decided the December game, if I'm gonna get game or games, right, because we don't know what the sale will be on the PS5. Now, the Switch is a bit bad, right, because on the thing that's good about the PlayStation Store is that you can go in on the PC, check like the Swedish PSN store, for example, or European or whatever, you know, Norway, Denmark, you know, USA, UK, you know, like, you check whatever, you know, country you're in, or whatever, you know, and stuff that, you know, you just gave some example countries. So you know that okay, like, because you can go into the store and you can check what things are on sale, and you can see, like, okay, like, and you can plan out ahead, like, okay, like, do I like this game? Now sometimes though on the PC it's a bit harder to get certain games to show up, it seems, and stuff that. There are certain things, because there are certain filters. I don't think that all the filters are available when you're on the online store compared to on the console, but I don't know, but yeah. So the goal is to get it down to 20 list, because of the fact that there are 40 nominees means that we're gonna have to eliminate 20 games in total. But yeah, but I think if I would be super harsh and stuff like that, first off, a lot of the games that are nominated are good games. I could have added way more games. There are certain games, of course, that were like free upgrades and stuff that, and I try to point out what games I got free basically and stuff that, so that you know which ones are like free games and stuff that. Because there's 3 games on the list, I think, that are PlayStation Plus Essentials, PS Plus Essentials. Yeah, 3 games are PS Plus Essentials. Now there are certain PS Plus games that I have not installed yet and haven't tried out. Those might get added to the list, actually, certain of those and stuff that. But once we have a top 20 list, of course, the easy thing is once we have the top 20 list, then whatever I decide to get, or if I decide to install and play certain of the PlayStation Plus games that I've gotten this year, because there's a lot of good PlayStation Plus games that I haven't gotten around to playing, right? That's the thing with PlayStation Plus is it became really good when you didn't have to download games, when you can just add them to library, and then you have to make sure that you log in every month and stuff that used to make sure you get that. But anyway, we're gonna go over the nominees and we're gonna say yes or no. And then that's gonna mean that then they will end up in the yeah, let's just save the elimination bracket now first. Save that. Yes. Move this box here. Move the nominee box here. Put this here top. Put this here. Just a little bit nice here. So games eliminated. So first off, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Okay, this is already very tricky at start. Because I'm basically gonna copy paste them. I'm not gonna remove them from this list here. The Game of the Year nominees, candidates and stuff that. Because this is what I'm gonna be posting in the description of the video. The games eliminated and stuff that I'm also gonna be posting, but I'm gonna post that in the comments instead. So Crisis Core we're gonna add to games survived. Yes. Even though, right, because, you know, so Axiom Verge 2, PS5, PlayStation Plus Essentials. I kind of missed when Axiom Verge 2 came out and stuff like that, because, you know, I really like the first Axiom Verge. Axiom Verge 2 is way more open, I would say, and that kind of makes it better. I don't know if I'm doing things in the correct order in Axiom Verge 2. That's kind of the beauty of it, I feel like, because it definitely feels like there are certain scenarios where you could go to certain other areas maybe you're not supposed to be in and stuff like that. So yeah, but Axiom Verge 2 gets eliminated. Yes. Then the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. I might say, oh, why do you add that? You got it a long time ago on PS4. Correct. Now I forgot if I paid for the Skyrim thing on the PS5, if there was like a price to it, or if it was just a free upgrade. I forgot if it was or not. I mean, I think there is a way to log in on the PlayStation account otherwise and just check like what games, like what you bought and stuff like that. But yeah. But there is the thing, right, the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, for example, on the PS5, there's a big difference because there are like certain graphical effects. Like you can definitely tell that it looks a lot better and stuff like that with like the ray tracing and stuff like that. So that's actually a very, very big deal, by the way. I'm just gonna check, by the way. I'm just gonna make certain that the microphone is actually working and stuff like that. Now the weird thing is I don't know if, like, because the red light is on, and I think that that's to indicate that the microphone is working, because otherwise it wouldn't be like that, you know, turning the freaking frogs gay, you know. No, that's not my correct Alexion's voice. I can have a much better voice, but I don't want to strain the throat now because of, you know, because of things. So yeah, that is okay. That's very good. So right, so I should be able to see here also. Yeah, that the microphone is working good. So yeah. So, next up, Or wait, let's go Skyrim, right? So it's gonna get eliminated. Definitely eliminated. And now next game is pretty interesting. So Resident Evil Village, aka Resident Evil 8 DLC Winter's expansion. But was it the Winter's expansion that added the extended Mercenaries mode, or was that just for free? The Mercenaries mode, was that just an update, or was that included in the Winter's expansion? I think it was included in the Winter's expansion, right? That added the extended Mercenaries mode that I've read about here, basically. I mean, the extended Mercenaries mode is really, really good because it added, like, it added Heisenberg, it added giant tall vampire lady, the Dimitrescu, or what she's called. What the another character was they used to? Was it just Heisenberg? No, it added Chris as well. So it added 3 characters. But those 3 characters are very, very different compared to how that feels like. But again, this is just like DLC stuff. This is not including... I mean, I thought about adding base game here because it feels different on the PS5 than it did on the PS4 Pro. Because it looks actually even better and stuff that. Now, the graphical jump isn't super high. But I would say like that, I could have easily added like Resident Evil 3 Remake. I could have added Resident Evil 2 Remake because those games had PS5 version. I could have added Metro Exodus also, the PS5 version, but I have not played the PS5 version yet, so I haven't checked out how the graphics is compared. So, because, I mean, Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3, there's a big difference in graphics on the PS5 version and stuff that certain games are just very, very big difference, but this is... I mean, I'm gonna add base game used to the list here, base game, and... yeah. But anyway, it's gonna get eliminated. So we have 3 games eliminated so far. Then we have Themes Fighting Herds, or Dems Fighting Herd, or Dem Fighting Herds in there. You know, because it's kind of supposed to be like the dialect, you know, the whole yeehaw. Not yeehaw, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, but previously I believe it was called My Little Pony Fighting is Magic instead of like Friendship is Magic and stuff that. MLPFIM for short and stuff that. But then of course they got kind of sued by Hasbro and stuff that, so they remade the game. They took the fighters that were already in and they remade them into new characters and stuff that. And that was actually pretty cool. You can definitely see like what character like we're supposed to be Applejack, you know, and I'm guessing the sheriff guy, which is kind of my main character and stuff that in that, you know. The weird thing is in story mode I have, or an arcade mode or whatever you want to call it, I have made it to the last boss but never defeated it because basically the last boss is a bunch of shadows and you have to defeat all of them and stuff that, and it's just that sometimes those shadows are used like completely bullshit, like you can make it to the very end shadow, even if you have a lot of it, it's just that you can die very, very quick to it, you know, and I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or whatever, right? Because there is like a thing for beating it on the normal difficulty level, and it feels like, okay, like why is the normal difficulty level so hard? Like it feels like very, very hard, you know. And I can understand, right? Like, yes, fighting game is all supposed to be hard and stuff that, and you know. But maybe it's just that I don't know certain moves, you know, and stuff that, and that's maybe I'm not juggling properly or whatever, because it definitely feels like you can juggle in the game and stuff that's, yeah. But anyway, I mean, it is really, really good. Because it's also not like a triple game. I wouldn't even call it a double A game. Whatever, like it's definitely a... what do you call it? Indie game. I mean, it is very unique, fighting game-wise, but it is another fighting game that I might put on the list instead. So, this is getting removed as well. I said it wasn't going to be too hard, so we already have 4 games eliminated. Then we have WRC Generations, which is the World Rally Car, whatever you call it, right? WRC. I think that's what it stands for. Or World Rally Cup or something like that, but yeah. But Generations is interesting. There were certain reviews that were completely cock about the game or whatever, right? Right, calling all the graphics are outdated. Like there was a certain Swedish website that did this. Anyway, I'm just gonna go in on the site, right? I hate it when it does this. Sometimes it does that it just locks the button, so I cannot go in sometimes on the thing, you know, when there's a way to fix it. So okay, so let's find it. WRC Generations, because they gave it very low score, and I knew about the score beforehand, by the way. Right, because they gave it very low score. And most of the screenshot looks really good, but then there's one right. There's one screenshot here. Oh, this is a picture from a PS4 game. And oh, it's not a picture from a PS3 game. So right. So when you look at it, basically, if you go in on any of the other screenshots, you can see that the game clearly does not look like a PS3 game. Clearly, when you see the other screenshots, basically, and stuff that, like, it's like... And now for some reason we can't even get the... maybe it's an ad blocker thing? And now you cannot even go in on the pictures anymore. That's like really weird. Oh. I thought it was gonna autoplay there, but basically there was a picture there that they took, because I remember having read that review before I got the game and stuff that, and I was really worried. But the thing is, like, one of the stages that they show the graphics from, and they say that, oh, this looks like a PS3 game or whatever, that stage is not even a stage you raised on in the game. That's used for like training purposes or whatever, right? It's a training stage that it is clearly not like a finished stage or whatever, right? Because they're like, oh, we don't need to put so much effort into this training stage because this is just, you know, or whatever, right? Because it's not part of the actual racing stages. And then they use that as a thing to knock off points of the game and say that the graphics are bad. Whatever, right? I mean, it's absolutely insane, because they say basically they right, because I really hate it when there's like, when it's a countdown to a video and then it's just like really loud and stuff that. I don't know why you cannot go in on the pictures here, but yeah. But I basically say that yeah, old graphics and stuff that. And then yes, they compare it to like Dirt Rally 2, I believe it is. They compare it to, and they compare it to WRC 10 and stuff that as well, I believe. Yeah. Because basically they take stages from WRC 8, 9 and 10 in Generations basically. But yeah. And it's so weird because you can clearly see on that picture that that's so-called like training stage or whatever is, you know. But yeah. I thought someone commented about it as well. And stuff that. Because I do remember there was a question about it somewhere, you know, and stuff that there was someone that called out the reviewer or whatever, you know, in the comment section, but I can't find the comment anymore. So yeah. But yeah. WRC Generations, we're actually going to be adding it to the game stats abide. And it might be, of course, that I haven't played a rally game in a really long time, so that's why it felt so good and stuff that, because yeah. Anyway, next up is the Final Fantasy VII Remake, Intergrade, INTERmission DLC, Yuffie, I'm gonna and base game as well, because basically Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is the version that basically you could upgrade to it for a pretty small cost, so you didn't have to pay like a lot for it, and it basically gives you the intermission. So I think the upgrade was actually free. The upgrade to the PS5 version on the base game was free, but then you had to pay for the DLC and stuff like that, the intermission for Yuffie. But I think they still call it like Intergrade or whatever, you know, because that's the version of the game that you basically get after it, you know, and stuff like that. So yeah. And of course, I really liked the Yuffie DLC, you know, and stuff like that. I thought that it was actually better than the base game, because Yuffie handles very different in it. Definitely, it feels like that makes you, you know that you don't have to worry about, you know, the rebirth and stuff that, you know, and stuff that, because they're adding that. So yeah. But it will sadly not make it into the games that survived. I don't need to do that every single time there. We just need to do that if it gets close. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 games eliminated so far. Next up is Dead Cells. A base game and Return to Castlevania DLC. So I haven't gotten all the DLC for the game yet. And it's definitely a game that I'm going to be getting more of the DLC with and stuff that eventually as well. Because Dead Cells is just very good. It's a Metroidvania-esque game, and it can be really difficult at some point. Like it feels like that you kind of meant to go to the main game and get a bunch of things before you do the Castlevania stuff, because the Castlevania stuff can be really rough. But the main problem is, of course, is that you cannot go and become like super powerful and then go into the Castlevania thing. That you need to go into it early. So I think there are some like weapons and some stuff that you need to get kind of beforehand and stuff that to strengthen yourself before you really go into the Castlevania thing. But it definitely will go the base game and Return to Castlevania DC Dead Cells. It definitely goes into the games survived. So far. I said that it was just going to be a simple yes or no, but I kind of want to speak about each of the games, so this might be a very long video. Next up is Tekken 7. This is a PS4 game. Now Tekken 7, if you check out my trophies on PS3, PS trophies, which is not an official, you know, PlayStation trophy site or whatever, because the values there for the rarity is not correct, because there's way more users there than there are actual PlayStation users or PlayStation Plus users. So I'm guessing it's people with alt accounts or whatever, you know, and stuff like that. But yeah. But anyway, so Tekken 7, I have trophies from 2021. Those trophies I hadn't got in the game at that point. That was via the, what was it? Was it PlayStation Now they called it? I forgot what it was called, but it was basically like a 7-day trial, I think it was. Maybe it was even just a 4-day trial or whatever. Basically, it allowed you to have a catalog of like different like games and stuff that you could just play. And I was back on the PS4 Pro and stuff that. So there was like games that I could play, and I remember playing Wild Arms 3 to that. I remember playing a really bad supposedly the HD version of Metal Gear Solid 2, which felt really bad because I was really bad at it. Which I wasn't bad like at the original like PS2 game and stuff that. Like I was pretty good at it, you know, and stuff that. You know, I'm not an extreme player or anything, but I could play it on hard, you know, and stuff that, so yeah. You know, because it allowed me to play the game for free, basically, for a short while and stuff that, and that's also how I played the Mafia game, the definitive edition of that, and stuff that, or whatever you call it, you know, but yeah. So Tekken 7 is definitely making it. Like, do I need to even say that it's all of the DLC? Probably not. But keep in mind, of course, depending on how many games we end up in the game surviving list, you know, we might have to do it. We might have to do it longer, you know, or whatever. So yeah. So there's total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games eliminated so far. Next is Empire of Sin, which is a PS4 game. Empire of Sin is very, very interesting because it's a top-down perspective, so you can kind of, it's Fallout-esque now. It's tactical, somewhat. There are some broken stuff in the game, and you can get really, really powerful. So first off, you choose your mafioso boss. There's technically not really a campaign to it, so to speak, because, you know, like, it's a different start with, like, all of the characters and stuff like that, and then it's like, you know, the goal is just to take over everything and stuff like that. But yeah, but it is depending on what mafia boss you choose. You get like certain bonuses, like certain ones are very good with alcohol and stuff like that, and then you want to focus on that. And then you can hire different gangsters, but then there are limits to how many gangsters you can hire. You can have your squad out and stuff like that, and, you know, like, you hire them and you equip them with gear. You can get better gear. They have certain rare qualities and stuff like that. And there's some great voice acting, and you can choose that, okay, to be violent with someone, or, we can work together, we can do a deal. And in the beginning, you might be really, really bad at that point, but then as you know, because a lot of the talk things, you know, is, they're always, like, certain characters are better at manipulating other people, it seems, and stuff like that, so it's very, very interesting. And it's definitely quite a bit of a unique game, and it will actually go on to my Games Survive list. Because, you know, I do want to make at least more than one round and stuff like that. And it's not that I'm going to be harsh or super, super harsh or anything, but yeah. Next up is F1 2022, and this is the first F1 game in a really, really long time. Because I had an old F game back on the original PlayStation, on the PSX, and stuff like that. And yeah, it was, I think it was 97 or 98 I had, I think, and stuff like that, but yeah, so I haven't had an F1 game in a long time, but F1 22 is actually really, really good, and there's a lot of, like, options so you can decide how hard it is and stuff like that, you know, when you can start off in a lower series, of course, so you don't meet, you know, like, the higher F1s yet. You can actually start in, I forgot what formula it was that you started in and stuff like that, but you can go to, like, the story and, like, so you eventually advance into F1 and stuff like that. And depending on what choices you make, like, you can end up in different teams and stuff like that, and stuff. And it's very, very interesting, and it's very, very good looking, by the way, and, you know, and it's definitely going into the Games Survive list. Now I'm gonna be pretty liberal with what games I'm gonna add. Like, if I would have been really rough, for example, I would not have added, like, Tekken 7. I wouldn't have added Empire of Sin or F1 for that matter, or WRC Generations. I probably would have added Dead Cells still because it's just that damn good. But that's just to say, right? Because, you know, we don't know how many games we're gonna eliminate on the first round go. So anyway, there are 2 games now that would get eliminated, and this is just because they're technically not PS5 games. They say they're PS5 games, but they're original PlayStation game, and it's Wild Arms 2 and The Legend of Dragoon. So both of these games are very good, not gonna lie. I never played any of them. I played Wild Arms 1, but Wild Arms 2 I think never came out in Europe. And Wild Arms 2, I mean, was it a PlayStation game or was it actually a PlayStation 2 game? Because it looks a lot better. I mean, technically it's more 3D-esque than original Wild Arms was. And stuff like that. So I don't know if it's, you know, let's just double check. Wild Arms 2. For PlayStation, 1999. Yeah, Japanese and North America release. It had no European release. Legend of Dragoon, right? The Legend of Dragoon, let's check. The Legend of Dragoon. There we go. I'm pretty certain that came out in Europe. actually Europe, 19th of January 2001. Precision Network. Yeah, but it was never released on the PlayStation Network in Europe, so you couldn't play that either. So yeah. But yeah, both of them are very good, but I feel like it's pretty unfair to put two like very, very classic like PS2 games on the list. So sadly, they are gonna be eliminated, both of these games, Walloms 2 and the Legend of Dragoon. Both of them are eliminated. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games eliminated total. Seven games eliminated total. Okay. Next up is Doki Literature Club Plus EU. There are certain games that have the EU in, and I believe it's because there are different versions that certain things are censored in the EU version or whatever, or something like that. So yeah, PS5. Now this is a bit of a unique game. You might think that it's a dating game, but it's not really. It's actually disguised as a horror game, and I'm not gonna spoil and stuff there, because you know it is meant to look like cute and stuff there, but it's like really disturbed. And if you're mentally disturbed in yourself, or if you're a far left extremist that supports Joe Biden, then you probably shouldn't play the game. Or if you're, have a certain flag that's a rainbow, then you probably don't want to play the game, because then you might might end up getting messed up in the head. Because they even have a psychological warning in the beginning of the game and stuff that, because there are some really gruesome shit in it and stuff that, and it's like, it is really, really good. And I knew beforehand what it was going to be. Like, I knew that it was going to be a horror game. Like, I didn't super know how much horror it was going to be and stuff that, like, because I know it kind of parodies, not really parodies, like dating sims or whatever, but, stuff that. And it has some really good music in it as well. Yes, the game is pretty short, but it's it's actually going into my game survive just because it is very, very unique. Now I know that there are more style games out there that are more like dating sim and not like the whole horror aspect and stuff that, but but I don't know if there are more style of these, because I would like to see more of this style, and I believe the developers have made more games and stuff that, but I don't know how many of these kind of looks like a dating thing, but it's instead like super horror, or not, or it's like it's psychological horror, but it's also like really, 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 there are fucked up shit in it, which is really good. And next up is Graveyard Keeper. So Graveyard Keeper, yeah, that's without the question of a doubt. The Graveyard Keeper used a PS4 game. I didn't get the DLC for it, I think. Or maybe I did get the DLC because I got one of the special versions of the game or whatever, but yeah. But anyway, it is that it goes into the games survived. That just makes a lot of sense. Next up is Airoheart. Hope that's how you spell it. EU, PS5. So maybe I should talk more about Graveyard Keeper. So Graveyard Keeper feels a bit Stardew Valley-esque, but it is quite complicated. And you kind of want to do things in certain orders, but then it's also very, very easy to mess up things and stuff like that. Now you can of course make the standard of the graveyards really good, because putting certain things on the grades make things better. You of course have a limited amount of energy and stuff that you can spend during the day, of course, and stuff that. But then there are like things like there are resources that you want to gather and stuff that and stuff. And I believe things come back as well, like things go back, right? So you won't run out of resources or whatever, but yeah. And then it's about okay, here you need a certain amount of wood to advance to here, or, and stuff like that. And then it's about, like keeping your graves in a good, when stuff there. But then there are certain days you have to remember that there are certain days that you can only do certain things, kind of like in Stardew Valley and stuff like that, but yeah. But it is just very, very good. It also has really, really chill music and stuff like that. And it seems like there's gonna be combat in the game technically as well, maybe. Stuff like that, but yeah. Anyway, on to Airoheart. So Airoheart is interesting. Because Airoheart is very, very A Link to the Past-esque in terms of its graphics. And it's actually really, really good. Because if you definitely want a game that feels more, that's like Zelda-esque, but not like in the Tunic way, like Tunic was really, really amazing, by the way. And Tunic definitely, if I ever do a top 100 games of all time, Tunic will definitely end up on the list. And now Airoheart is very, very interesting because it's, because it's more, like it's very, very A Link to the Past, and stuff like that, and it's, there are some interesting things about it, I would say that the game is more difficult than A Link to the Past, although that kind of, it might just be that it takes a while to get used to and stuff like that, and again, if you have a TV that's not like if you have a TV that's not super, super quick, it definitely does make a difference. Like, I'm very, very hard to adjusting to a TV that has like delay to it and stuff like that, because it's not only about the pixel delay, but if there's any sort of input delay in certain games, you have to have very, very quick reactions and stuff like that, so yeah. But anyway, yeah, Airoheart definitely goes into the games survived list. And it's a PS5 game, by the way. Next up is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, all DLC so far. It's a PS4 game. There is no PS5 update. Now, it took a while until I decided to get the rest of the DLC. I did get some of the DLC for it at first, I believe I did. I did get some of the character DLC. And I was gonna get some of the DLC cheaper, but then because of a certain, like the person that handles my finances, kind of, and stuff that, like, I wasn't able to get the stuff in time, so I had to get it for full price rather than getting it for the cheaper price and stuff that, like, I was gonna get a bunch of things, a bunch of the DLC for like cheaper and stuff that, but then it ended up being way more expensive, and stuff that, because I didn't get the things in time and stuff that, but yeah. But it's just Xenoverse 2, I just played it a massive amount. I really, really got addicted to it, and like the custom character that you can make is like really, really good and stuff that, and they keep adding more stuff to it, and stuff that, and it's just like really, really good, and it's just an amazing game, and it goes into the games survived. So right, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 games on survived. And we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games eliminated. Next up is Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3 Slime Speedway. So this is a pretty good kart game. I haven't played any of the other Nickelodeon Kart Racers and stuff like that, and so people are going to compare it to Mario Kart, but I think it's more fair to compare it to the Sonic All-Stars racing games. The first one I think was just called All-Star Racing, and then Transformed was the second one, which I have on the Wii U, and then the third one, which I have on the PS4. That I could also install on PS5 was the Team Racing one, or whatever we call it. But yeah, Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3 is actually very good. It's a bit easy, except there are certain challenge tracks, kinda, where you have to do special things on it that are way harder. And the items are interesting because you can kinda have like assist items equipped, like you have a special character equipped, and then that gives you certain like weapons or certain, some are defensive, some are offensive and stuff that. And they have different cooldowns, I think that some have like longer cooldowns than others and stuff that, yeah. And even though it's a good kart racing game and stuff that, again comparing it to Mario Kart, is it very unfair compared to how many entries Mario Kart has had, you know? Like, that's always the main problem, right? If someone is like, oh, I'm not gonna go into this kart racing game because Mario Kart 8 is so good and stuff there, but you know, like, you know, like, how is a new game gonna have a chance? Like having it, oh, it needs to be as good as Mario Kart 8 or whatever. It just feels very, very. But anyway, it goes into the games eliminated. Bring it up to 8 eliminated games. Yes. Next up is Final Fantasy 16. Okay, man, this. In Final Fantasy 16, I don't even need to talk about it. This just goes into Game Survived. Then I realized that there's gonna be a lot of games that are gonna survive and stuff there, because it's just basically, you see at the games that I have left here on the PS5, like, all of these are basically, almost all of them are like survive. So next up is Book the Investigator, survive. Gran Turismo PS5, survive. Quick 2 Remastered, survive. Sea of Stars, PS5, all of these PS5 here. Sea of Stars, survived. Bomber Cyberpunk, survived. Resident Evil 4 Remake, survived. So all of these in one go. All of these in one go. I've already added a Final Fantasy there. But yeah. All of these games survive. Yeah. That's pretty fucking insane. So, surviving games are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 games so far. Weird West. PS5, that's up PlayStation Plus Essential Games. While the game is really, really good, by the way. The game is really good. There is another game that kind of outshines it and kind of does similar stuff. Like, I kind of wish Weird West would be more like that game, sadly. And I don't know if it's just that the survivors that you get that besides the main character, or main characters, because supposedly there are more main characters that you can play as, or there are more main characters. But any like follower that you hire, like, they die really quickly. So I'm basically in a situation where there's one dungeon that I'm at that is really, really rough. And maybe it's just that I'm running low on ammo or whatever, you know, and stuff there. But it feels like you get to a certain point, okay, now the enemies are super, super tanky and whatever, right? And it's not that my weapons are bad, because they aren't, you know, bad and stuff that. But I just feel like, okay, how are you meant to make your things? Maybe I'm just bad at twin stick shooters or whatever, but it feels like the aim is very, very... Either it's too slow or it's too sensitive or whatever, but yeah. But anyway, it is a very, very good game, and normally in normal situations I would just add it, like, no problem and stuff that, but it goes into games eliminated. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 games eliminated. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So normally you would only be able to add 3 more games. And next up is Callisto Protocol PS5, and that's also a PlayStation Plus Essential, so it was a free game used like Weird West. Callisto Protocol is actually very, very good. Survival horror, and therefore it goes. There. I don't know why it went into the same there, but because I didn't do a... I forgot to add more space here. Next up is Disco Elysium for PS5. This is a no-brainer. This is very, very likely to end up being very, very high on the top 20 list, by the way. Because Disco Elysium, I haven't gotten no trophies in it so far, but... So this game is very, very smart with its control, even with the controller, because you can kind of aim... You normally aim towards whatever is closest. So if you aim in a certain direction, you will aim at whatever is closest to you. But then there is a button you can hold in that you can highlight all the interactable objects and stuff like that. And when you make your character, you can decide what you're strong in, how to spend the points and stuff like that. And the thing is, there is no way to increase, for example, your intelligence or your other main stats, basically. except for gear that you wear. So there's no like, oh, now when you reach this level, now you can add one more intelligence point. So I decided my main strength will be intelligence. So I'm a detective or sheriff or police or whatever that is really smart. But I'm not tough. So when we see the first corpse, my character pukes and my character cannot handle it, so he has to go to the apothecary and get a certain pill or whatever it is, so I don't puke or and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty funny. And you wake up like not remembering anything, and you can have like an inner monologue with yourself at the very start, like, oh yeah, I like being drunk, and I like, and I enjoy the darkness, and then, like the game can go in certain directions for certain political factions, right? That you can choose to be like, oh, I'm going to be a communist, or I'm going to be a Nazi, or I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, and stuff like that. And yeah, and there are some really, really interesting dialogues you can have with them, and and the thing is, one thing that I'm going to make sure that I do, because yeah, there are some fun things. So there's a guy that you get, your first kind of companion that you get. You can convince him in the first case, and I forgot what stat it was that you need to increase, because there are basically, you can choose, for example, to have intellect being your high stat, but then there's also your main focus area that you can choose, and that one would get an extra point into it, and this can also affect your intelligence or whatever, right? So you can decide like certain things are tied to intelligence, kinda, and stuff like, oh, what are you good at? What are your character good at? And you can only choose one, I thought that you could choose multiply at 1 point, but you can only choose one, right? So for example, when it comes to intelligence, you have a bunch of things that are kind of related to conversation and stuff like that. And then you can have like, oh, you appeal to authority and stuff like that, and then you're able to like make authoritative like intelligence arguments or whatever, and stuff like that. You can choose what to specialize in and stuff like that. And then, you can be really good with technology, or you can be, and stuff like that. Like, there's so much depth to the game and stuff like that, and it's insane. And then you can wear, of course, clothing to get better at certain things, and it's just amazing. And it's just like, if people have been looking for something, think Fallout, but more depth. Think Fallout. The Fallout games, Fallout 1, Fallout 2 specifically, and maybe a little bit Brotherhood of Tactics, or whatever they call it, Brotherhood of State, or the Tactics Fallout game. And then think Neverwinter Nights, probably a bit of Divinity Original Sin 2, a bit, and so that. And I mean, it's just that the depth of the dialogue here is maybe Arcanum. Was it called Arcanum? A certain RPG that was steampunk-esque. But yeah, but this Coliseum is just so amazing. Next up is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, base game and Dimension Shutterstock DLC for PS5. And that is going into games survived as well. Bringing it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20. 20 games. Right. And we're not done. Those are all of the PS5, PS4 games. So I mean, quite a lot of games got eliminated. I mean, very few in comparison to games like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games got eliminated. Yeah. So next up are the Nintendo Switch nominees. Metroid Prime Remastered, which is more of a remake in my opinion, because it's basically built completely from the ground up. It's not like, oh, we used the old graphics and then because it's completely new and stuff like that. And I would say there are balancing. I don't know if still the European version is harder than the PAL version, because back in the day, the PAL version, both Metroid Prime 1 or Metroid Prime 2 at least, were harder than the US version. So on the US version, I remember when I saw certain speedrunners saying that, OMG, I can't believe that people are having trouble with this bomb boss or whatever it was, because you're basically this one boss where you're in mobile form. And that boss on the used version is easy, on the PAL version, because when you get there you have very few E-tanks. And it's just that you take so much damage in that scenario. There's very, very little damage that you can survive. And there's no way to refill during that boss fight. I think there are things that you can kill in the boss fight and stuff like that, or a room that you can kind of go to somehow during the boss fight or whatever, you know, that there is anything you can get during the boss fight, I think. But yeah, but anyway, Metroid Prime Remastered used very easily. Game survive. I mean, I would say that all of the Nintendo Switch game survives just spoiled, by the way. Because they're just that good. So next up is Pokemon Scarlet Violet. I should just make it like this instead, Violet. Or Scarlet Violet. Scarlet Violet, right? Because they always say it in that order, right? Scarlet Violet or Violet Scarlet. And I'm gonna in parentheses take have Violet, because that's the game I got. So the funny thing is Scarlet, I don't know why they take red as the color, because so basically depending on which versions your school or academy changes, one of the academy is grape, which is the violet one, which makes sense. Grapes can be purple. However, if you choose Scarlet, you get like the orange or naranja kind of academy, or whatever it's called. I don't think it is called naranja, but it's like an orange academy, so it has nothing to do with the color red. Violet makes sense, right, because of the whole, you know, and stuff that, but yeah. But anyway, that very, very easily goes into the games survived as well. Next up is the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Wave 426. And a bit of extra thing here. This thing I will only have in this nominate candidates list and stuff like that. But Wave 4, Wave 5 and Wave 6 are the ones that came out this year. Wave 4 Thursday, March 9th, 2023. Wave 5 Thursday, July 12th, 2023. And Wave 6 Thursday, November 9th, 2023. And I believe it was during these waves that came out that the new characters were added. Wave 6 of course added new characters, and I think Wave 4 added new characters as well. The one that added like Maddie Koopa or Kamek basically. Because one of the early waves added Kamek, PT Piranha, Wiggler, yeah, right? PT Piranha, Wiggler, or Birdo as well, and Kamek. Right, so 4 characters, yeah. And then there were 4 in the other one, which were Diddy Kong, Funky Kong, Pauline, and Peachette, or Toad Peach. Toadette, but she's Peach, so she's Peachette. Meaning she got the crown. So that. But does that mean that Peach is actually supposed to be a toad? That if you removed her crown, she would become a toad or whatever? But you can clearly see in that Peach game that's gonna come out next year that she isn't wearing the crown at that point, and that doesn't revert her. Or whatever. Because she says like she's surprised that Mario is human in the movie. So that means that she's not human? Or whatever, but yeah. But anyway, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, of course. Wave 426. That's just an easy survive as well. Next up is the Super Mario RPG Remake. Or what is just called Super Mario RPG, because it's not called The Legend of the 7 Stars. Like the original. Now I did play the original, but of course I needed to play it via ROM because it, or via emulation, because it never came out in Europe. Now it did come out of course with the Super Nintendo Classic Mini, so I did play it on that as well. And stuff like that, right, because it was on the default thing, but yeah. But yeah, that's pretty good. So it's Mario RPG. if they make it into the games one. And then PC Game Nominees. Will all of the games end up? Nope. So Vampire Survivors, Tides of the Skyrim, and more content added throughout 2023. Because there's been a lot of free content added as well. That's been really, really good. And stuff that. Including one new character, a couple more items and stuff that. And I now have a pretty good endless farm. There's a farm that you can do basically. It's a 2-hour farm. Basically, you wait till the in-game time is 2, but you're using the thing that speeds up the timer, so 2 hours is 1 hour used, because it's basically half the time. And stuff that, and you can earn like several millions, or more than several millions. I think you earn about 100 million or whatever, right? So it's almost up to 1 billion, or I forgot exactly how much I earned or whatever, but yeah. But yeah, that one definitely goes into the majority of the PC games will actually go here as well, by the way. And stuff that. Next up is Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, Return to Rome, and the Mountain Royals DLC. So it's on the 2 DLC. Now Return to Rome, as I've spoken to before, but I forgot if I've uploaded those webcam vlogs, because there's a lot of webcam stuff that I haven't uploaded where I talked about Age of Empires and stuff that. There's a bunch of webcam videos that I've uploaded and stuff that are really, really important, and stuff that, so yeah. A bunch of stuff that I've done during 2023. So that I have not uploaded yet and stuff that's in. So yeah. So that's important. So that game is definitely, because when Return of Rome came out, it added, of course, AOE1 stuff to the game, like the factions. It also came with a new with Romance or Rome as a faction in AoE 2 as well. But it added AoE 1 basically to the game. And AoE 1, yeah, it's really good. AoE 1 is really good. AoE 1 is really good. And the thing is, there were people that very, very falsely, almost immediately when the DLC came out, that said, "Oh, I don't think they're gonna add anything else." But they were very quick on both on Steam. You could see the news, and you could see it in game as well. That they were, "Oh, go here and vote," and stuff like that. And what was the vote? The vote was in that. Also, they said that there were campaigns that they were gonna add that was not part of the vote. There were campaigns that they were gonna add, and they've already added like 3 campaigns or whatever, or something like that, or maybe 4 campaigns or whatever to Return of Rome so far, and stuff like that. And some of these were gonna be added just by default, right? And then there were people that were voting, and the ones that were gonna get the most votes were gonna get added, basically, to the game and stuff like that. Because the campaign that you actually get, the default campaign or the campaigns that you get before they started adding more of the old stuff when the game came out, yes, there wasn't that many campaigns, but all those campaigns were new. None of those campaigns were actually campaigns from the original Age of Empires 1, so they wanted it to be new stuff. But of course it has more like AoE 2 mechanics rather than AoE 1 mechanics, but it is still AoE 1. And of course Sultan's Ascend, really, really good. So Sultan's Ascend gave us 2 new factions. Right, yeah, 2 new factions, Armenians and I forgot the second one. Why am I backing on the second one? And Georgians. And Persians got redone, or retuned, or whatever you want to call it. And the thing is really, really good for them. They have a unique paladin replacement, basically. So Cavalier Now you still have access, I believe, to Cavalier because the other unit counts as a unique unit, so it replaces Paladin, but it's not like a upgrade from Cavalier into this unit. So you can still make Cavaliers at the stables and stuff like that if you want to. But yeah, but it definitely goes into the games survived. Next up is the Lord of the Rings Online PC free. So this game is really good. I played it almost religiously during a period of time. Yes, the graphics are really old, and it's a bit annoying that you have to play on a shit ton of servers just because of there being very few character slots. Now I thought about, taking a subscription to it, because a subscription to it is cheaper than having a subscription to World of Warcraft. And if you subscribe, even if you subscribe for a month, you receive a certain status afterwards. Just for having a single month, right? Like you keep a certain permanent status after that, and then you have access to more slots. And I kind of wish that, I don't know if they're ever gonna make that change, because the main problem is that in-game you cannot change server. You have to do it. You have to log out to change servers. So getting access to your characters are very, very annoying, and I have quite a few characters and, months of that, and it is really, really good. I would normally just love to have it on the game survive, but I will put it in games eliminated. Now maybe once I decide to jump back in and maybe get a month subscription, or maybe several months subscription, right? Because I think you can take more and stuff because that would allow me to get some of the classes that I'm more interested in. Now Bjorning is really good, but usually Bjorning used to be a paid class, but then eventually became free, and I'm guessing that they're gonna do the same with the brawler style character, or whatever they call it. Which is kinda, I think you can only play at this as dwarf, right? One of the classes and stuff like that, but yeah. Because, yeah, I think it was called Brawl or something like that. There is a certain class, kinda. But yeah, so that's in eliminated. Next up is Diablo 4 PC. I got, of course, not the most expensive edition. I got the second most expensive edition. So that got me like a free, season pass that I could use, or battle pass, or whatever you want to call it. And I decided to use it on this season, so I need to play more of it and stuff like that. I did play it quite a bit before it came out, because of course it gave me early access and that as well, and stuff like that, yeah. But Diablo 4 will go into games survived. And next up is World of Warcraft Dragonflight. I actually skipped a game there before Lord of the Rings, by the way, but we're gonna go back to that. So next up is World of Warcraft Dragonflight PC. Yeah, that's games not survived. I actually played more of it. I actually played more of the game before I got it. What I mean by that is that they added at several times they activated it so you could go and play a Draktyr even before getting an expansion. And they also made it so that you could go over to Dragonflight and you could actually level over there and stuff like that. Like they've had like free periods where you could just go over there and level and stuff like that. But then you didn't get those levels immediately. You didn't go above 60 and stuff like that. But then eventually when I got the expansion, which I got it in June or July. I think it was in July I got it, or whatever, or in June. Because I got it after Diablo 4 basically. And then I got Diablo 4 in June. Or the 1st of June, I think it was, when I got it, so yeah. But yes, Dragonflight has been actually the expansion that I played the absolute least. And the thing is, I don't count the talents as a Dragonflight thing, because you gained access to those talents even if you still only had Shadowlands and stuff like that, so yeah. So next up is Hearthstone PC, including the following expansions that return to the Xenoxis miniset. Festival of Legends and the Audiopocalypse miniset. Titans and Fall of Ulduar miniset, and Showdown in the Badlands. And quick note here, Martyr of the Lich King was released on December 6th, 2022, but the miniset was not until February of 2023. Which is the one that's on the list here, the Return to Xenoxis miniset. Showdown in the Balance was released on November 14, 2023, meaning most likely the miniset won't be until January of 2023. If you compare it to here, how it was in December, and it wasn't released until February, so December, January, February, so 2 months. Now November, December, January. Right, but who knows, it might be end of December for the miniset. And if that is the case, I will include it. Even if this gets added after the Game of the Year video had already been done, at that point, used to add it to the nominees. But anyway, that of course gets eliminated as well. And I will just take the Hearthstone thing there, and move it to games eliminated. And there's one more game, and that is Age of Empires 4 base game and the Sultan's Ascend DLC for PC, of course. And that's a very, very easy games survived. Oh. Okay. So that is the first round. That is the first round. Yes. I don't think I missed anything. Hopefully. Then we do this. Boom, boom. So yeah, so after round 1, games eliminated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 games total. Games eliminated 12. Games survived. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Right. 28. So because otherwise it's just 28 plus 12, right? So it should be 40. Yes. Okay. So that is round 1. Round 2. Okay. So round 2. Games eliminated. Games survived. Okay. Let Axiom begin. Now I am gonna still try and be as nice as possible here. We're still gonna try and be nice. We're not gonna go like absolutely like overboard or anything, and stuff like that, but yeah. So 28 games survived. Oh man, this is gonna be rough. I mean, there's gonna be lots of Axiom going on here. Crisis Core, Final Fantasy 7, Reunion. Eliminated. Right. And if I'm too... Okay, so there's 12 games got eliminated. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we need to eliminate 8 games. Man, you know what? We might actually eliminate more games than that and like not make it a top 20 list and stuff that. If I'm super brutal and stuff that. WRC Generations gets eliminated. Yes, that's already 2. Right, we might be absolutely brutal here. Dead Cells base game and Return to Castlevania. That will, however, survive. Yeah, I mean, this will decide if it will be a top 20 list or not. Otherwise, we just need to change name. Let me just save the text because I'm saving from time to time just because, stuff like that, so damn, 28 games survived. We're already eliminated 2. Next up is Tekken 7. Oh man. Eliminated. Sliced. We're gonna start slashing. Tekken 7 eliminated. Empire of Sin. PS4. Eliminated. Yeah, man, we might end up with an actual way shorter list and stuff that, you know, because, you know, if I'm gonna be super brutal, now I'm gonna be like the super lucky, really. F1 2022. Oh man, this is so fucking rough. Now F1 2022 survives. That survives. That definitely survives. Doki Literature Club plus you. Damn, this is so tough. Because it's such a unique game, like I've never played anything like it, you know, and stuff like that. But yes, it is super short. Yes, it has several endings to it that you can get. And stuff like that, and you know. I mean, it's just that it's very unique and it's not clearly a super high production and stuff like that, but there's a lot of dialogue and stuff like that, and you know. Now but games eliminated. Next up is Graveyard Keeper. Graveyard Keeper survives. Graveyard Keeper survives. Airoheart. Oh man. Damn. Okay, this is so fucking rough. Because if I'm brutal to a lot of games, like there are games like all of these games are good, and that's why it's so like really brutal to like. Like of course I said like we need to eliminate 8 games, and we eliminated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's only 3 more that we need to eliminate, and I will probably end up eliminating way more than just 3 more and stuff. That's yeah. Airoheart is really good, and I like the fact that it's like basically like a Legend of Zelda game, but on a PlayStation basically and stuff like that. And there are also some things that are like the music is really good as well, you know, and stuff that, and it's just, you know, like yeah man. Yeah, we're gonna have to add it. Not great. You're the keeper again. Airoheart. Oh. Now the main problem is, of course, is that Nathan Dragon Xenoxis to all DLC so far. The thing is, I played this game so much, and it is so good. I played the game so much, right? I invested so much time into it, and it's really good. But it's not like game of the year material, you know, and stuff like that. It's not like, yeah, this game is gonna have a chance to win. Not against the heaters that it's going up against. If the year wouldn't have been super good, and I mean, yeah, yes, you know, it's not like the games that came out this year that's part of like the game of the year list, but it's like the games that I get during the year and stuff like that. So, yeah. Right, if this would have been any other year, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 would have made it, but it gets slashed. Next up is Final Fantasy 16. Damn. I like 16 so much, damn it. 16 was amazing, and it's basically like, I think that they're taking Final Fantasy the modern in the right direction with 15 or with 16, Because I like the fact that it basically has a higher age on it and stuff like that. I kind of wish they would have gone higher with it and stuff like that. Like, you know, they could have done lewd stuff with it if they would have wanted to and stuff like that. But it gets eliminated. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it would only require one more game to be eliminated. And that would leave us with 20 games. Pretty much. Because we eliminated 20 games. And 28 games survived. So you know. So we would only need to eliminate one more. And next up is Brock the Investigator. I didn't talk much about this game. You know, I know that some people might say that, oh, it's a woke game or whatever, but it's around to Brock the Investigator makes it, however. Because it's, we can kind of say it's a point and click, but it's not really, because you can do combat and stuff like that. And there are some pretty interesting scenarios where there were at one point when I did a certain thing with one of the characters that maybe cut the chapter short because there was a certain chapter or a certain part of the game that felt very, very short, and that felt really, really weird. Like, why was this place so short? But maybe it's just because of what I decided to do with a certain character and stuff like that. But yeah, but Brock is really good and stuff like that, especially story-wise and stuff like that, you know. So yeah. Next up is Gran Turismo 7. The Gran Turismo 7 has kept getting like updates and stuff like that. And they even added a free car like during the thing, and they've added more cars into the game. The main problem though is that when you log into the game, if you haven't seen or if you have missed a bunch of cars in like free updates and stuff like that, when you come back to the game, it only shows you the new from the current wave of new cars that come out. So if you have already missed certain other new cars, then those won't show up as new anymore. Which is bad, right? Because I think that it should count the previous time you logged in, right? So if you the previous time you logged in, if you didn't go into the dealership and check, okay, what's new, then it should show still as being new. You know, and stuff like that. Even though that stuff is old. Whatever, yeah. But Gran Turismo 7 definitely into games survived. Next up, Quake 2 Remastered. Yeah, game survived. This is just so easy. Sea of Stars PS5 games survived. Yeah, definitely. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk PS5 games survived. Alright, I need to add to the Resident Evil 4 here. I need to add separate. So I need to add base game and separate always DLC and Mercenaries free date, because they had basically free Mercenaries content that didn't require the separate ways DLC. So that, although I believe one of the characters, right, is locked via the separate ways DLC, right? One of the characters. So I'm adding the Resident Evil 4 Remake into Game Survived. But I'm gonna do it a bit different. Instead of saying base game there and separate ways DLC. Mercenaries mode. Right, so this might seem weird. The reason it ends up surviving is not because of the base game, not because of separate ways DLC. It ends up surviving because of Mercenaries mode. Mercenaries mode is what I've ended up having the most fun with in the game. Aside from the base, but because the base game is not bad, and it is the separate ways DLC. I think the separate ways DLC is way better than the main game actually, and stuff like that. And it's just, you know, there are some things in the game that kind of seem like a certain, political thing, and stuff like that, which is pretty bad. And Ada, compared to the original, where she shows her legs, and is the whole sexy spy thing, that's not true anymore. At all. Like, she covers up a lot, and even if you get the dress that supposedly show the legs and stuff, that is just still very, very weird. They've done things in a very weird way. But Mercenaries is really what carries the game, especially due to the fact that, yes, there was the free update to the Mercenaries mode, which added Wesker, which added Mafioso Leon, the pinstripe suit, which you unlock that Leon, of course. And then you have Ada, you have regular Ada, and then you have her in the dress as well. So that's the two Adas, 2 Leons then in total, and then Wesker. And Wesker is really, really broken. But I felt like one thing that made me do better in Mercenaries mode was actually making the aiming way more sensitive. Because I realized that I'm not very good at the whole doing headshots, doing melee after the headshots in order to get more time or whatever, right? I'm not good at that anymore. On the Resident Evil 5, for example, in the Mercenaries mode, I was really good at doing the whole headshot thing, because you shoot a certain amount of times in the head, and then you basically stun them, and then you can basically do a melee move, and then that's what the regular Mercenaries mode was all about in 5. Now, of course, 5 on the PS4, they added the whole Mercenaries, reunion, united or whatever, and stuff that combined both versions of Mercenaries modes. All the characters were together and stuff that was really, really good and stuff. But yeah, the Mercenaries mode, it was carried. You should not see this as the remake game itself, as the base game, because that's why I call it Mercenaries mode here, because that's the part of the game that I recommend. Like, you get for Resident Evil 4 Remake, not for the main story. Whatever, you get it for the Mercenaries mode. If you like the Mercenaries mode in OG4. Even though it's very unsimilar. And I know, right, that when you play on PC, you can get the higher score more easily, because it's just more easily to aim with the mouse. Yes, you can do it on console also. But I do think that it's a bit stupid, right? That why have they made regular aiming so bad? In RE2, it was really annoying. I can get it. Yes, the games would get too easy if you would have the godlike aiming in like RE5, for example. RE5, you had like godlike, basically wanted you to set the aiming on the highest, and then you just aim for the head or aim for the parts that you can stun. And it was all about doing melee moves, at least in Mercenaries mode. And so the Mercenaries mode characters were just so damn good. And then was the whole strategy of deleting all the other weapons and just keeping one weapon. And you can do that, for example, with regular, you can delete your handgun and just go with your shotgun and use the blast fools. And that is true kind of for some of the characters here as well. But the pinstripe Leon is so fucking cool, because he has the Chicago typewriter, but of course the Chicago typewriter was nerfed compared to the original game, and this is not a fully upgraded like infinite ammo Chicago typewriter or whatever, right? Because you basically need to get all the upgrades for it to get that, or the exclusive or whatever you call it. But yeah. But next up is the Callisto Protocol. Does get slashed. Callisto Protocol gets slashed, and that would bring it to 8 games, right? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that would make it to the 8 games slashed. But I'm not gonna stop slashing. And with this Elysium, PS5, that's of course game survived. Really easy. Really easy game survived there. Next up is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder Survive in Space Games and Dimension Shell Shock. And I'm removing there from the Metroid Prime Remaster, I'm removing there how it's more like a remake and stuff like that, just so it takes up a little. So that you don't think that that's 2 games or whatever, but yeah. So, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge base game and Dimension Shell Shock DLC. Okay, the base game is really good, and the DLC is really good, especially due to the fact that they add more colors to the characters, so you can get more variations and stuff like that. And the game is just very fun. I haven't tried out the game online yet, but it is really good, and as a party game, I would think it's very cool. I would like to play it actually with friends and stuff like that. There's a certain person that I don't know if they have the PS5 or if they have a PS4, because I believe, right, you can cross-platform, right? If you have a PS5 and you have a PS4, you can still cross-platform, right, with the... if they have the PS4 version of the game, right, and you're running it on PS5, right? I think that is the case. But that game survives. I thought about cutting that actually, but yeah. Next up is Metroid Prime Remastered. Yes. Easy survive. Easy survive. Next up is Pokemon Scarlet Violet. Like, don't get me wrong, I really like it. Now here's the thing though. If I end up getting the DLC, for example, if say one of the things I get next month is the DLC for Pokemon Scarlet Violet, I think that both of the DLCs might not be out at that point. I forgot exactly when the second DLC was added to it, because there's 2 DLC that they're adding and stuff like that, and some of the things that are included are like new clothing and stuff like that, so yeah. But I mean, it's very, very good. Like, I don't get why there are still people that say that gets bad. There's so much like black, you know. And yes, it can get very, very laggy after a while, especially in a very certain specific city. It can get super, super laggy if you've played for a long time. But anyway, I mean, we have already slashed enough games. By the way, we have already slashed 8 games. But we're slashing Pokemon Scarlet Violet. Next up is Mario Kart Deluxe Wave 426 Switch. So you could count it as Wave 1 to 6 as well, but, and don't get me wrong, right, I love Mario Kart 8, especially now that I fixed the controller problem. So apparently, if you have the issue with the Switch Pro controller, that it disconnects. And here's the thing, right, when the controller gets disconnected, that it did before, if I choose it in Bluetooth mode and I have the cable connected to it, then it would disconnect. But it would also disconnect when I used it with the USB cable and did not have the Bluetooth on. Right, it would disconnect randomly, and then the game pauses. And then after pausing, or unpausing, the acceleration button would not work for a couple of seconds. So it's worse than getting hit by item, because when you get hit by item, you lose all the speed immediately. And then after a short delay, you can start accelerating. Now, of course, a quick character can accelerate faster and stuff that, you know, and stuff that, and then you have the invisibility and stuff that. But yeah. But that meant that I would lose speed. I would lose a lot of speed. So if I already have some speed, my character will need to slow down. Like, I cannot use the release button and then immediately start pressing it, because then I won't begin accelerating until I've lost enough speed. So that meant that I would lose races sometimes because of it, and that meant that I couldn't get like 3-star everything and stuff like that, and just, you know, and it's rough. It's rough. And it's really bad that it is like that, so yeah. So, but I mean, after fixing it, it has become a lot better. One thing though that I do say, and this is very, very annoying, is how super, not Nazi, but how super is like, if you don't have Nintendo Switch Online, then you cannot even check what the other goals are. You cannot see what the world record is. You cannot see what card setup they have. Because here's the thing, right? If you really want to have, like, and you might say, oh, but when you do the time trials, your vehicle or combo doesn't matter. Yes, it does. The combo is the most important thing. And yes, you can do, there are some weird combos that you can use to definitely like get like really good time on certain stages. But also if now there is no way to use the view the goals as a replay. Sadly at the racing, but you can say of course where the opponent goes. You can say okay, these are the shortcuts that they take and stuff that. And then you can try to mimic what they do and stuff that. And then you will get a good time. So that's something you could do back on the Wii. Which meant that on the Wii, of course, there were 2 times. There was a regular goals time that you beat, and then you had to beat expert time to unlock certain things. In that. In Mario Kart 8, of course, there's only regular times that you beat. There's no expert times. Or I'm guessing they counted expert times or whatever, but yeah. Certain stages are like way harder than others. Certain stages are just very, very easy to beat and stuff like that, but yeah. But the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Wave 426 is getting slashed, sadly. It is getting slashed. And it's just that, again, right, if this would have been a worse year, it would have survived. So that's up to 10 games slashed now. Next up is Vampire Survivors. Tides of Day for Skyrim. Why do I have a Vampires 4 twice? I think one of them was supposed to be the Age of Empires 2, so I need to change that. Anyway, these things. No, it doesn't. It gets eliminated. Vampire Survivors started for Skyrim, and the more content gets eliminated. Then these. Nominees, where are the PC games? Oh, yeah, Age of Empires 2 survived. Right, yes. Because normally Age of Empires 4 was going to be after Age of Empires 2 there, so. Right, so. That survived. And I'm just gonna make it here so that they are in the correct order here. So Age of Empires 4 would be after. Would be after that, boom. Alright, then Age of Empires 4 also survives. And then finally, Diablo 4. Survives. Okay. So I mean, I was pretty brutal with slashing. What is it? Eh? That was after. Mario RPG was after Mario Kart 8 Deluxe there. So Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So after Pokemon Scarlet. Which just got eliminated. So it's after Metroid Prime Remastered. Yes. Metroid Prime Remastered and Super Mario RPG. Okay. So that they are in the correct order, Super Mario RPG, of course. You don't want to have that eliminated. See now. And that's all of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 games eliminated. So first we eliminated 12 games. Then we eliminated 11 games survived. After the first round was 25 games. And after round 2 there are all 11 games eliminated. And there are, how many survives then? But we only need to eliminate 8 to get it to 20. But anyway, let's just count instead anyway. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So 17 games survived. Save. So then we change it to top 17 list. And then we change Game of the Year nominate like can a top 17 list. Top 17 list, and then we'll go in on that top 17 list. Yes. Yes. Okay, so that's now top 17 list, and the elimination now is so yes, 12 games got eliminated first, 28 games survived, then we slashed 11 games, and 17 games survived. So these are your contenders for the top 20 or top 17 for like the Game of the Year stuff. So that's the candidates, and this is the elimination rounds to decide the games in the top 20 list. Elimination rounds. Decided. Top 17 list decided. Elimination rounds, yeah. So right, so the 17 games that survived are the following. Dead Cells, a base game and Return to Castlevania DLC for the PS5. F1 2022 for the PS5. Graveyard Keeper for the PS4. Airoheart EU PS5. Brock the Investigator PS5. Gran Turismo 7 PS5. Quake 2 Remastered PS5. Sea of Stars PS5, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk PS5, Resident Evil 4 Remake Mercenaries mode PS5, Disco Elysium PS5, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge base game and Dimension Shell Shock DLC PS5, Metroid Prime Remastered Switch, Super Mario RPG Remake Switch, I don't know why I didn't put Switch in front of the like the Super Mario RPG thing there. And then Super Mario RPG Remake Switch that. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition Return of Rome and the Mountain Royals DLC for PC of course. Age of Empires 4 base game and the Sultan's Ascend DLC for PC and Diablo 4 for PC. So those are the 17 games that are gonna duke it out on the 20. Now the good thing about this, right, that I slashed so many. You might wonder, why did you not make it a top 20 list? This gives me leeway so that whatever I get in December, like I might just get one game in December, or we might get several, or I might just get DLC for something. Like, if I for example, if we go back here to Games Eliminated, right? If I get, for example, if there's like, I don't think there's gonna be like DLC for 16 yet. It's probably gonna take a while. But for example, if I get the DLC for the Pokemon Scarlet Violet, that might put it above. Now, Vampire Survivors. Vampire Survivors could still in December come out with the Adventures mode, like the free update and stuff that. And Adventure mode is gonna be a big deal because apparently from people that played in the beta or whatever you call it, the thing that you can do. adventure mode is really good because adventure mode gives you like special challenges that you can do and stuff that. And stuff that then it kind of resets your character or your progress or whatever, you know, and stuff that when you're doing that challenge mode or whatever, you know, or adventure mode. But right, and it would be basically like special stages that you do like special like actual challenges and stuff that. And, you know, adventure mode, maybe it's kind of meant to be like the story mode of the game, but yeah, but if that comes out like that, could make it so that Vampire Survivors could make it into the list. Pokemon Scarlet Violet, again, maybe I get the DLC for it, you know, and stuff that. You know, maybe I get a bunch of games on the PS5. Maybe I get, like, for example, I get the Rage. Maybe the Rage is cheaper, maybe there's gonna be a huge December sale. And I could save, like, a shit ton of money and stuff that. Because there are games that I've been thinking about getting, like, I've been thinking about getting the Turok 1 and 2 remastered. 3 is not gonna be out until next year, I believe, the remaster of 3 and stuff that. There's Rage. As I've said, Verge is by Team 17, which is pretty insane because Team 17 is, of course, makers of Worms and stuff that, the Worms games. And it's just, like, Verge seems really good. There's, like, the old retro shooters and stuff that. There's the Space Marines game, the bolt gun. That also seems really good and stuff that. I know that they bought the Turok 1 and 2, like, the remasters of those are really, really good as well. And stuff that, and also done by the same studio, I believe, that did the Quake 1 and 2 remaster as well, so, you know, really, really good. You know, there's a lot of things that are cheaper that I could get, for example, and stuff that, so yeah. So it's gonna be, of course I could just get one game, you know, like you get, like, Tears of the Kingdom and stuff that, you know, like, although it's more likely I get next day, but that depends, right? But why couldn't Switch have an online shop that you could check the prices, right? Because that's the important thing, right? Or if I could set the Nintendo Switch shop on the PC and you could see, like, you could see the pricing of things in the Swedish prices, basically. What the things cost. That's something I like about the store, however, that the prices are not in dollars or euros or whatever, the prices are actually in Swedish and stuff that, which is good. Of course, it's like that on the PlayStation as well, but it's not like that on Steam, for example. So that's, yeah. But yeah, so those are the 17 games. So that's actually pretty insane, not gonna lie, man. Maybe I have to get rid of a beard, maybe that's what I got in the throat, maybe. Maybe that's what got stuck in the throat. Or maybe it's the monster that I cannot deal with. I don't know. Because I had trouble, like, swallowing and stuff like that, and then it became like a thing that I had in the throat, so I had to, like, puke up whatever I had stuck in the throat and stuff like that, yeah. Anyway, man, 17 games. So I could add 18, 19, 20, so I could add 3 games and stuff like that, so, you know. And stuff like that, and I mean, Pokemon Scarlet Violet could end up being on the list. Pokemon Sword and Shield could end up being on the list because I haven't played the DLC for that either and stuff like that. So there's like a DLC that I could get for a bunch of games. I could get the DLC for the you know, the Hyrule stuff, the Crypto the Necrodancer, the whole the Hyrule thing. You know, the Crypto the Necrodancer, the whole, I forgot what it was called, right? But they've added a bunch of DLC for that game that I haven't gotten yet, you know, stuff that. I could of course get the Hyrule Warriors game, the one that takes place in the Breath of the Wild world and stuff that, which apparently has more exploration to it or something like that, you know, stuff that. But yeah, but it's just, you know, there's a lot of choices, you know, and stuff that, you know. I would if Nintendo actually had serious sales, because there's still a lot after, like, the PlayStation and stuff that, in comparison and stuff that. And I can understand, right, that they don't have super many games, so, you know, if they had a bunch of games on sale, it's still, you know. But yeah. And also, like, the points that you get, you can use when buying the games online and stuff that, which is really, really important, right? Because a lot of times the games in the stores are way more expensive. That Mario RPG would have been way more expensive in the physical store than it was to get the digital version, but yeah. By the way, there's been a Xenoxis for the 19th of November 2023. So these elimination things, I'm gonna be posting these in the comments because this will most likely not fit into the description, but that depends. If I have space after I go over the nominees, if there is still space left in the description, then I will add it into the description and stuff like that. But I don't think that there's gonna be enough space for that. But yeah. But it's really good that you see games eliminated, games survived, games eliminated, and games survived. So yeah, so first we eliminated 12 games, 28 survivors, then we eliminated 11 games, and 17 survivors. So yeah. So I mean, we still... Wait, why you do that? No, don't tell me I deleted something. No. Yes, something else survived. But then why did it create another file? This is just the old text. Because this is the top 17 list aside, yeah. Right, I probably had 2 of those open at the same time there, probably. That's probably what I saved. There's more RPG. Oh, this is before I added Switch. And that is supposed to be in parentheses as well. But because, you know... Switch. Okay. Okay, so... That's 28 games surviving first. And then you're slashing so many games, man. Slashing so many games. I mean, sometimes you have to do it like that, you know. Sometimes it'll be like that, you know. Sometimes it'll be like that. Anyway, I'm gonna make the game of the year on the 12th of this year. Hopefully I don't get worse than this. Is like the puking is maybe a sick thing instead, you know, the worst case scenario. Instead of it just being, oh, you have some slime in the throat, and like maybe it's, you know. Because if it's something, you know, like, because last year I think I got sick and then I was also busy at the same time because the game of the year video that I did, like if I go in on my YouTube here and I use search, whatever, if I just go into here basically and I go back. Yes. Okay. Okay. There's the Cineverse stuff. Types of the Foscari. Yeah, Game of the Year show 2022 recorded on 9th of January, which is correct. Right, because I got busy during that time because I never recorded on the 12th. Because I had a Game of the Year preparation there on the 12th of December, but then I got busy after that, or I got sick or whatever, right? Because on the 16th or the 17th I did the whole Vampire Survivors thing and stuff like that, but yeah. And text got down the 22nd of December and stuff like that, so yeah. Because sometimes you're busy, you know, and stuff like that, and that's just gonna, you know, change things, yeah. Got this a loop in my deep, got some moonlight. By the way, hope you all enjoy this. I will be probably uploading this today before I start playing, because there are some things I need to look up as well. Because for some reason I think that there's supposed to be a shop in Super Mario RPG that isn't showing up for whatever weird reason. Yes, I know there are some powerful things that you can get in the shop and stuff that, like, and stuff that, but there seems to be things that you are supposed to be able to get in the shop that you couldn't get in the original but are in the remake or whatever. I would also say this, that I have a theory that you're going to be able to unlock both Link and Samus as either playable characters or as an item that you get that is infinite uses and works like a summon, but you can only like use it once per battle or whatever, then it doesn't consume the item. Right. Because the thing is, not only is there basically there's a scrapbook that you can say, there's a monster journal and there's a scrapbook. And now in the scrapbook, the characters, it kind of works like a diary. The characters have thoughts on things, stuff like that. And there's both an entry for Link and just an entry for Samus. Now these are supposed to be used Easter egg in the original. Now I don't know if it played that whole beep 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 or whatever it does. It does one of the Zelda things, one of the musical jingles when you interact with Link. And the thing is, normally he disappears. Normally both Link and Samus disappears when you get to a certain place in the game. They don't disappear now. Now why would they stay? Now in the Link description, in the journal, it says that that Mallow would like to, have a talk with him, link up with him, as to speak, link up with him, and do it over one of the cola items. And I thought, okay, let me just get a cola item and then try to give it to Link, but of course you cannot use it on him. Unless of course there is something like that, maybe you have to require a certain amount of them, maybe you have to get a certain amount in your storage test, so maybe he changes the location where he sleeps, or something like that. And then the second one, which is really what started making me think that, okay, there are going to be some way to unlock them. Maybe you cannot unlock them now, but maybe they will add DLC to the game or something like that. But here's the thing, right? So when Samus appears in the castle, in the Mushroom Kingdom castle, she says, of course, she's resting up for Mother Brain. But then when you read the description, basically it's a Mallow description, and he was gonna he was basically sneaking up on her to do something or whatever, and stuff like that. But then she kind of came to or whatever, meaning that she was awake enough, and he got seen, so he ran away. Samus Aran, so I ran away. And maybe that's supposed to be a hint, because Square Enix, of course, and Nintendo together did Super Mario RPG. And in Final Fantasy VII, of course, there is the whole NPC that, you already fought this amount of times, and when the two last numbers are the same, so for example 22 could work, 155 could work, 144 could work, two last numbers needs to be the same. And then he wakes up and he can give you Mithril, but there's also a ring that he can give you, and he can also keep track on how many times you have escaped and stuff like that. And because of the fact that he can keep track of escaping and the fact that I ran away, maybe you have to escape enough times for someone to go in. But then the cola item is interesting because you can buy only a certain limited amount of that cola item. Do you need to have a maximum of them in order to wake Link up? Or is it some sort of super reward for beating, the whole, you go there and interact with them once you have a certain thing or whatever, but yeah. Because, I always thought in the original, like having them as secret character, and secret character is something that Square Enix did in, of course, Final Fantasy VII in the original. Because both Vincent and Yuffie are optional characters that you don't have to recruit them at all. And stuff that. And stuff, so, yeah. So that's very, very interesting. So, you know, food for thought, just, you know, and stuff that there are some... Because, you know, I can understand, right, that the work they would need to put in, especially to make their armor make sense, you know, and stuff like that. But then, you know, I have a whole idea, you know, if people want to eventually check out what I mean and stuff like that, because, you know, I could write a whole list on you know, why, on why, what I think that they would be equipped with and stuff like that, like, and maybe there would even be several weapons for them and stuff like that. But here's the thing, right? The bosses that has rematches, not all the bosses have rematches. That's the thing that's interesting. That not all the bosses, of course, has rematches and stuff like that. Making me think, of course, that maybe they're gonna add more in the future, or maybe there are gonna be some that are gonna be tied to some content or something like that, but yeah. And you might say, oh, but certain bosses already have, you know, like in the machine world where you can meet like copies of the bosses that are way stronger than the original form, which is true, you know, and stuff like that, but yeah. But yeah. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this, and, you know, I'm gonna start uploading this, and I'm gonna see how much I will fit into the description. The rest will go into the comments, of course, like the games that got eliminated, and, you know, it ended up only taking, of course, 2 rounds and stuff like that, which is... Why did it do that when I did like that, like when I clicked it there? Like it just went into editing the text there for some point, but yeah. So yeah, so round 1, so it only took 2 rounds to eliminate all of the games that we needed, so yeah. But yeah, hopefully you all enjoy this, and I will see you probably in December at some point. Because yeah, because I need to save up my voice, and of course, depending on how long we do the Game of the Year video on next month, on the 12th of December, which is usually when I do it, because it's a very special day. But anyway, hope you all enjoyed this. This has been Xenoxis, and it's been the Xenoxis show with the whole Game of the Year stuff, preparations and everything, the nominees, and we eliminated all of the games we needed to eliminate to make the top 17 list instead of the top 20. But yeah, this has been Xenoxis for the 19th of November 2023. Hope you all enjoyed this. Leave a like if you want to share the video with friends and stuff like that, or if you don't have any friends, just share the video on X or whatever, you know, but yeah. But I see you all.